In this frostbitten village, people worship fire but tremble at the sight of twins. They call it the twin karma, a belief that one child devours the other's fortune to become a demon. I am Lamb, the outcast. When I was 3, a savage hound lunged at my brother Ling. I choked it to death with my bare hands. There was no fear in my eyes then, only a cold shiver running down my spine. Terrified, the villagers forced my parents to banish me to a remote mountain convent, in reality a mental prison with no escape. 15 years later, I returned. The village gate remained unchanged, but the air reeked of death. My father had passed away, and Ling, my brother, as fragile as a lily, was now nothing but a fresh grave. The diary he left behind was a bloody indictment. For years, the village chief's sons had hunted and tortured him. They branded his back with red-hot irons, forced him to grovel like a slave beneath the forge, and ultimately, Ling chose the cold stream to find his final escape. My mother looked at me with bloodshot eyes, devoid of tears. He was too kind, so he died. But you, Lamb, you carry the blood of a demon. Use that cruelty to claim justice for your brother. I began the most brutal soul swap. I pressed red-hot iron against my own back, replicating every burn Ling had suffered. I learned to speak in whispers, to bow in submission, and carved identical scars onto my face. When I appeared at the old teacher's forge as Ling returned from the dead, the village was shaken to its core. The perpetrators watched me with suspicion, but my feigned frailty deceived them all. The first to pay was Hung, a snitch of an apprentice. I lured him into the coal shed at midnight. As he indulged in poisoned wine, I used a sledgehammer to crush the feet that had once stepped on Ling's head. His screams were drowned out by the rhythmic hammering of the village smiths. I watched him fade away in the glowing embers, feeling not a shred of pity. Panic spread as the village chief's family met their doom. During the hypocritical old man's birthday feast, I locked every exit with forged iron chains. I drenched the shrine in linseed oil and struck a match. The flames roared like Ling's vengeful spirit. Through the cracks in the door, I saw them clawing at each other in despair. When the eldest son tried to crawl out, I nailed him into a red-hot iron chest, letting him feel the searing heat from within, just as he had branded my brother. As the truth neared the surface, I sought out the old teacher, the only one who hadn't shunned us. There, amidst thick tobacco smoke, a horrifying truth emerged. Ling and I were not our mother's biological children. Years ago, to ruin my father, a gifted blacksmith eyeing the chief's position, old Ba had swapped his rival's twins with his own only child. My mother's real son was the local thug I had just burned alive. We were mere orphans old Ba had picked up to stage the twin karma play, turning my family into a laughingstock and an object of fear for the entire village. Old Ba stormed into the forge with a flintlock gun, his face distorted by hate. I should have strangled you both at birth. A shot rang out, the bullet tearing into my shoulder. In agony, I grabbed a glowing iron rod and lunged, piercing his chest. The old teacher, harboring his own grudge against Ba for murdering his wife to cover up the swap, also threw himself into the inferno with the old man. I limped home, my breath ragged. Mother sat there, eyes vacant. She knew. She had killed her biological son through my hands. She drank a cup of poisoned tea and collapsed beside me. Lamb, you are not a demon. It is this world that is the demon, she whispered before her last breath. The next morning, the villagers found only ashes and 3 bodies lying together. No funeral, no tears. They took us to the highest pass, where the wind howls like a lament, and burned us once more to erase the evidence of a crime that would never be solved. Since then, whenever thunder rolls from the peak, people whisper it is the sound of the demon child's hammer, forever punishing sinful souls in the depths below.